We'll be jumping into Game 2 in just a second here. Now, with the third loss and their first game as Envy, I wonder if the pressure's going to mount here.
I don't think so. I think they will accept a loss against Team Solomid. I mean, Team Solomid, despite roster changes and roster swaps, they won the Summer Finals. They beat the then AFK, now Envy, in a best-of-5 matchup where, you know, they lost the first two and ran back. I mean, when you have DaGarz, Snoopy, and Eonic back in their core roles, you can never count this team out at all.
Alpha Draft, top performers for the game for those of you playing at home. I imagine we're going to see bchm close to the top. Yeah,
I mean, he had an absurd amount of assists.
54.6.
I mean, just rotating to the team, not dying ever. No surprise to see him up there. And it's actually, I believe, yeah, it's all of Team Solomid outside of Allied sneaking on there in place of TheBoosh, who had a really rough first half of the game. Even his second half, his itemization was incredibly weird. We didn't take note of it, but he actually built Fatalis at the end of the fight, which is surprising considering his team had that much peel for him that he really didn't need that movement speed for himself.
Usually Fatalis is built on Poseidon as more of a joust item when you only have to have one person to worry about. I think it's one of the reasons that Boosh was trying to commit super hard to the fights. Krakens weren't really working though, so perhaps it was really smart of him to adjust his strategy.
For me, here's the thing though, because they actually were connecting late game, and Fatalis was his last, it was his 6th slotted item.
Sure.
His Krakens were connecting, and they were just tickling people late game. I mean, a little weird optimization. It obviously worked out in the end for Team Solomid, though. But TheBoosh, after having a really good series against Cognitive Gaming, I think struggled. But that's the thing, right? If TheBoosh struggles and Team Solomid still wins, Team Solomid, I think they won based off draft more than anything.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, Game 2, we're going to head into picks and bans, see if Envy can rebound after their first loss with their new team. Likely to see a Thor prioritize pretty well again. DaGarz, his tectonic rifts were absurdly strong and useful last game. I mean, not only locking down players into tight pin walls, but also protecting his team and not allowing Envy to chase kills that they likely would have secured.
Hunbot's going to be the first one taken away for Envy. Team Solomid, time to answer back. Do you think that we're going to see the Aphrodite picked in the first phase this time?
I honestly think if they could run it back, if AFK could run that matchup back, picks and bans back, they would have taken the Aphrodite instead of the Nemesis. Knowing that Aphro was banned.
Well, Nemesis doesn't go. I'm sorry, Aphrodite doesn't go for the solo lane on this team. That's a mid pick for Kiki.
No, I know. I think they would have drafted it instead of the Nemesis there because it got banned out in that second banning phase, so they weren't able. So they had to go, or excuse me, default to the Hades.
So it's gonna be
I love this.
Wow.
I love this.
I don't.
2 series in a row now. We've seen Team Solomid and bchm specifically have great success with this god. Force him into something that he hasn't had as much success with in the Pro League. They're picking on the new guy. While it may not have been Sobek itself, it's may just, let's just abuse bchm once again. And Serqet, it's left open, and Envy, they're going to grab it for the second time.
So the question is, what does
Athena.
What does bchm think that he wants to go here? You think he's going to take Athena for solo?
No, I don't think so. I honestly think that's the best pick for here, but I don't think Team Solomid has the players that play that really multi-role facet or multi-god facet. It's going to be Athena, but it's going to be Janus. Janus was banned away from TheBoosh last game, and this is the god that we saw him have such a phenomenal series against Cog with. It's a god that, if you're mechanically sound, you can make a lot of intense plays with it.
Janus' pick, smart, doesn't really lose anything. There's the Aphrodite that I think we expected. And Khepri, oh my lord.
Was he banned last game?
No, for some reason just made it through picks and bans.
I'm surprised because Team Solomid really value that god incredibly highly. But I guess it's because I guess one of the big things was that they picked up the Sobek Athena early and they just wanted the Sobek and to kind of take away the Athena.
So Aphrodite connected to Serqet, who can't die because of Khepri.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah, last time we saw 2 hyper carry assassins diving the back line and then just kind of getting blown up by the CC. This time, I don't think we're going to see the same thing.
No.
Thor going to be locked in for DaGarz once again. I mean,
it's already impossible to get away from Serqet, right? Now Serqet's going to be having an extra slow with Aphrodite. She'll be moving faster. She'll be doing extra damage. She'll be healing, and she'll be invincible. Oh, and she gets her mana back.
And then she could be revived in case she...
Yeah, just in case none of that works out.
It looks like a pass ban coming out from Team Solomid. I wonder if this was just them not deciding in time or a strategy that they wanted to run here. You don't see too many pass bans that aren't accidental.
That's true.
You almost always at least see all right, we really don't want to deal with this player's, Jablanque.
Yeah, and like, why not just hit a hunter there?
Hit Freya. Maybe
Yeah,
they want Freya to be picked.
Right. Allied unlikely to pick Freya. Just maybe take her away anyway. Xbalanque going to get banned out. TSM's option. Still looking for their hunter and most likely their solo laner.
I think we will see a hunter here, and Xbalanque take it away. I think it's going to be Ram.
I
see no reason to not pick Ram here. Otherwise, we'll see Allied grab it immediately.
Okay, so Ram, I was actually expecting Apollo given how hard it's going to be for him to get away from Serqet. Hopefully Snoopy's got the serious snipes online today because dealing with this comp so far is going to be a hard task. Final 2 options here for Envy, looking for their solo, and it looks like their hunter.
I don't think we're going to see a backline assassin once again from Envy. That's a team comp that clearly didn't work last game, and Team Solo mid running the same composition with the Athena, Thor, a little bit of Ram too, a lot of mobility, and a lot of hard lockdown, or excuse me, a lot of control in team fights.
There he is.
Ho-Yi coming out. Recent buff coming out to Ricochet, now 10-second cooldown instead of 14.
Not to mention 30% extra scaling off on dive bomb, up from 30 to 60%.
That's actually standard. That's actually like the standard hunter scaling. Ho-Yi's was actually just significantly weaker than any hunter jump or leap.
Yeah, but Ho-Yi was already doing more damage than all the other hunters.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think that he might be the best hunter in the game right now.
Allied was one of the first to bring Ho-Yi into competitive play.
Him and Emilito, I think.
Him and Emilito really over in Europe on Epsilon, and he brings it out. It's not picked up every week. It's not picked up that often, but it's just a pick that Allied will bring out and has a lot of success with when he plays it.
We're going into the game. Envy versus TSM. TSM finding a rather dramatic first game win against the almost undefeated EnVyUs. Their current, I think, was 18-3 now.
Yes. Still significantly ahead of anyone else, though. Outside of Eager, 14. I mean, Eager needs 4 wins to match Envy. Oh, I'm saying in North America.
That's not what you said.
What did I say?
You said anyone.
I mean, we could go anywhere, right? That doesn't even mean I'm limited to Smite, right?
How's Avant-Garde doing?
They actually went undefeated.
Oh, so you're just you're nonsense at this point.
But they don't have as many wins. They didn't have 18 wins. It was only a 7-week season. They were 14
right. They have infinite KD or
I'm done
win
with
loss.
you. Stop. Game 2. Envy versus.
I was hoping
Team
you were going to say
Bickham.
AFK.
We didn't take a note of it, but it's actually going to be CycloneSpin on that Bellona matching up against Hades.
No, it's not.
Yes. It's wrong. We'll
okay, I see.
Kiki's in the mid lane with Aphrodite, and
when you started that, I looked to the roster and I'm like, wait a second, why is Aphrodite in the solo lane?
No, I said that too. I was like, what? I was like, oh, okay, no, we got it. We'll fix it. There.
I was gonna be like, that actually makes a fair amount of sense because Bellona is a girl.
Bellona is a girl.
Yes,
but
so Kiki will play it in the mid lane.
Gone away.
You can't tell me that Hades isn't a girl. He wears a mask, right?
He's an undead.
We assume that he's a male.
Hades is an undead. He has no gender.
Okay, that counts.
That's like Apwash, right? He's undead.
Apwash throws girls.
He kind of looks like a guy, but
he throws
that's just kind of what we've designed him to look like.
Kiki in the mid lane matching up against Janus. Now, this matchup generally is seen as pretty even. Aphrodite doesn't have too much trouble clearing. At the same time, though, I think I give the advantage to the laning phase, given the fact that the junglers are going to be hanging around for most of the time, to the Aphrodite Serqet, given they have so many ways to stop Thor damage.
10-second Ricochet, it actually might come up in time. If he can bank this, it's going to do a lot of damage.
Damn.
Yeah. Allied,
Jesus.
big plays coming out from him. He's probably one of the most proficient Ho-Yi players in the world. You're seeing it there.
And you'll notice Allied starting out with this boost rush to try to get burst damage online with the Bluestone, given the fact that he has so many ways to apply it and so quickly on such short cooldowns. He's also gaining a lot of mana pots as well, which I assume he's going to be burning through.
Oh yeah, you can just see the pressure that Envy is putting onto this dual lane. It's so hard for them to fight into the Khepri and Ho-Yi with that new 10-second cooldown. I expect Snoopy to know this matchup, but it may not be anything he's practiced with the lower cooldown. You're getting it up so often, and if you can hit those bank shots, when Ricochet hits off a wall, doing just that much more damage on the run back.
I like it that Allied is taking the risk to shoot the deep bank shots for the extra damage. And again, Snoopy, you'll note his build, he's almost out of mana permanently.
I mean, he'll be fine. He'll be fine for the most part without that mana.
DaGarz trying to take a shot at CycloneSpin here. You'll note that Cyclone has not committed super hard in the lane. No red pot or anything of the like. Goes right into Bluestone. I'm sorry, Death's Toll, and then is going to be finishing boots up.
Solo lane, this is not something you ever really see from Hades in the solo lane. He's actually started tiny trinkets.
Yeah, this is very strange.
This is going to be a Divine Ruin, more
It's
than
gotta
likely,
be.
against the healing CycloneSpin. Hits 5. He'll be able to ult out of there if he wants, but he actually stands tall, recognizing that bchm not going to be able to do enough damage. That is smart game knowledge coming out from Cyclone.
Completely calculated.
Or excuse me, knowing that bchm can't do enough damage, and he'll be able to just stand tall there.
Mid lane, you'll see Weekend and Kiki again out pushing quite cleanly. All of their camps have despawned at this point, so what do they choose to do? Kiki, you'll notice hugging the wall, but
Link breaks, so they don't know where Weekend is
yeah,
anymore.
they did that purposefully.
I
They did
think
it
so.
specifically to hide Weekend in the jungle.
I think that you're right. He like walked back there. Link broke, and then he walked back
Yeah,
into
look at Garz.
that
Look at Garz
midway.
here.
Garz doesn't know. Yeah, that was this is an intelligent play. I don't know if it's going to combo or work out, but it looks like Envy are going to try it. Weekend though.
No,
Not gonna be
I
able to
guess
find
they
anything.
didn't feel confident in jumping into
I don't
the
think
creep
they have
wave.
the burst. I really don't think they have the burst to lock down. Maybe they do, right? If he jumps over the wall, taunts.
Dude,
Death
Bird's
Bane,
back off
Vault.
does a lot of
Yeah,
damage.
That could be enough. But it's like timing it perfectly, and that's like assuming Boosh doesn't like portal Weekend or portal Kiki there. A little bit risky to try that, in my opinion.
Everyone level 5. You'll note, though, even though Kiki is level 5, he does not have a blue diamond, meaning he didn't take his ultimate to level 6. He went strictly for birds, which means when they were in the mid lane, they were looking to kill.
And if they didn't find it, likely could have been turned on. No ult to immune any CC or damage.
Got him.
Weekend continuing to try and lock down Garz in the jungle. I don't think he's going to ult here. Oh, he actually does, but look at that. Eonic going to be ulting as well, and Team Solo Mid just going to disengage that with their mini ultimates, mini global ultimates.
That was a 2 ult for 2 ult trade right there. Mid camps on right getting contested heavily. CycloneSpin rotating in against
could lock
3.
down
This
Garz
is so
here.
greedy.
Garz needs to be a little bit careful.
Cyclone might be dead here. Cyclone should be dead here.
Yeah, he actually used his ult before that last fight.
Oh, don't worry, there's a Khepri.
Garz trying to time
an
it. Yeah, they were.
Aphrodite.
You could see that Team Solo Mid didn't want to commit too much. Ally rotating in. bchm going to be locked down for first blood. Envy controlling this one.
It's actually humorous to watch because Cyclone should have been dead. He had no ultimate. He had no way out of the Hades ult. He had already used his dash,
oh,
and then he's like,
Khepri. I don't know if you heard of that god.
yeah, Khepri
He's that
plus
big, he's
Aphrodite.
the big bug right there, the white one.
Oh, man. Like I said, it was funny to me to watch that because there was just no way to actually kill him.
Incon, I don't think he stole those away. I wasn't looking at his XP.
No, there's no way he did.
So, for me, though, with Khepri and how powerful his ult is, for me, it's Rising Dawn. Can you actually hover over it? 50% damage reduction. No,
Nope.
not Abductor.
There it
Yeah,
is.
Rising Dawn there. 40% damage reduction on every ally hit by that for 3 seconds. I mean, that's going to
Do you want to hear something
so
really
much damage
funny?
or reduce so much damage.
Do you want to hear something really funny and
40%
maybe kind of
damage
weird?
reduction on ability
No,
that
no,
can
no.
allies?
I had a dream that got reduced to 30, and for some reason in my head that made more sense than what it actually is. So up until you just showed
Are you
that, I
serious?
thought it was 30.
Yeah, because you had a dream. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You got nerfed like 2 patches ago, because that's probably the good. Okay. Weekend and taking a trip
When you
over
showed
here.
40%, my whole mind just
bchm
shut
used his
off.
dash incredibly early here,
Uh-oh.
but they're just gonna force Eonic's ult, and they're happy with that. That's on cooldown for 90
Eonic
seconds.
doesn't seem happy, though. He's actually going to chase this one down. Weekend coming back. Ultimate's available for both of them, but it doesn't seem like the Guardian
Weekend's gonna
combo
stick
wants
around
to
here.
stick
He's
around.
making a return trip to the solo lane. bchm has no ward vision. They don't know where Weekend is. For all they know, he could have gone back to try and do his buffs, and bchm, no idea about this, but based on Cyclone's positioning, I think he recognizes something. Yeah, look at him. He doesn't see Weekend in the jungle, but he's looking directly at there. He knows something fishy's going on just based on the positioning from CycloneSpin. Okay, Weekend, Eonic walked right by you. He knows you there.
This has been quite some time that he's been sitting
This is what
waiting to
Weekend
gank a
does.
Hades.
This is what Weekend does, and you say that, but Serqet's actually incredibly powerful against Hades. His ultimate, Last Breath, immuning all healing that a player receives, and a lot of what Hades counter gank or getting away from ganks is that he's able to dot up those minions, use his detonate blight, and heal up most of the damage he takes. So without that ability, Serqet has a good matchup when trying to gank.
A super late sentry ward put down. Weekend takes a small win with 50 gold taken. Right side camp's about to spawn as you see the jungler from Envy rotating over. This should be another free 90 gold for Weekend. Oh no!
Eonic rotating over. It looks like they're trying to lock him down, but I think Weekend kind of showed his hand a little bit too soon. I think if we would have allowed Eonic to rotate in a little bit more, but at the same time, there's also his huge global presence from DaGarz and DaBoosh. So even if they ganked Eonic and put pressure onto him, all of Team Solo Mid would have been there very quickly.
Still 1-0 here at the 7-minute mark. Envy with a small but still relevant 1,300 gold lead. I don't see Envy choosing to fight anytime soon, but at the same time, there's really no way for TSM to fight in either. With Khepri and Aphrodite linked to someone, there is just no chance that you're killing anyone.
And the later the game goes, the harder it's going to be to kill these gods. I mean, Khepri's ult late game, you know, giving you more health, more power, more movement speed, and same with Kiki on this Aphrodite. Man, he's going to be healing for so much, and they have Yi, probably one of the strongest carries in the game right now, if he can make it to late game.
Yeah, I mean, the character does a ton of damage. He has great control. He has great movement now that Dive Bomb has been changed. And his ultimate for teamfight presence is insanely strong.
For me, though, it's his passive. We don't ever talk about it because it's not useful for about 20, 25 minutes into the game. His passive actually is an anti-crit mechanic.
That's right.
When Yi is crit, he cannot be crit again for 3 seconds.
That's a lifetime.
It's not gonna matter now because no one's gonna build crit. But once Snoopy starts itemizing into Rage and a Deathbringer, which I expect him to do, he's going to lose every single boxing match against Allied as long as Allied can.
Are you ready?
Can hit his autos.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Snoopy recognizes this and goes ability damage.
Okay.
Jones.
Not ability, considering really that's only benefiting his ultimate.
Actually, no, his 2. Oh, those are auto attacks. I guess.
Never
mind.
Rama's kit is literally enhance all my auto attacks and have a, you know, half.
He's gonna go super ult build, super Rama ult.
If he goes attack speed build, I could see it, but he's gonna have a rough match.
So like, chin size oboe.
Yeah, but you take a look. CycloneSpin can actually disarm him as well.
Yeah.
So Envy has a lot of shutdown against Snoopy, and you know, kind of the better late game hunter when it comes to boxing matches one-on-one.
We can still level 9. I would have expected him to be a little bit higher with the assist, and given the fact that he had slightly better rotations in the early game.
He sat in solo lane getting no XP for like 2.5 minutes.
That's true. That is very true.
But that's what Weekend does. That's what Envy does. It's about Weekend fighting.
Where are they going?
He just likes to fight. He likes to gank. He likes to put pressure across the map. And sometimes he loses farm for it. He's a lot of times you will see other junglers out farm Weekend, but Weekend finds kills, and that's a lot of what Envy base their success off of.
All right, we're going to see a red buff pulled here on the bottom side. This one's going to go to Kiki. Kiki already with full boots, and then starting up that Chronos Pendant. We're looking at Allied 2 ults used already. He could be in trouble.
He's going to be locked down here. Perfect wall. You can see Weekend rotating back in, and and Incon in the corner as well, but DaBoosh coming in with the snipe. This is a 4v3 that I don't think Envy wants to fight.
This is a real good fight for Envy. I'm surprised they're not taking it.
I mean, look at the rotation. It's 4v3. Kiki, ult going to be forced out by Incon. That was way too early.
That was
Pulled
way
that trigger
too early.
Real fast.
That's going to lose with all of their ults being down at this point, except looks like for CycloneSpin. This is more than likely going to be a Gold Fury in favor of TSM.
Weekend, he wants to contest it. CycloneSpin as well. You can see what Envy does. They don't come in from one direction. They
Rama
come in from multiple directions. Look at them. They're looking for the pincer move, but I don't think they have the burst on anyone. I mean, they just don't have that much damage yet.
CycloneSpin in some trouble here. No ultimates are going to be used to help him get out of this one. bchm throwing down the Hades ult, forcing the Abduct be defensive, and with that, Incon gonna fall.
I think they'll take that loss as long as they can defend Gold Fury successfully, but Eonic looks like he wants to chase down CycloneSpin. No dash or taunt available for him more than likely.
Oh, missed Allied. Not getting any damage off on bchm there. Disarm, not going to do much.
Burst. That was a lot of burst on a bchm who hasn't itemized into much health yet. He's got rank 1 of the Sash, and Envy, they have the heals on their team with Kiki. They're going to start up the Gold Fury.
But Eonic has ultimate. If Snoopy can get in there and bring Eonic with him, this should be a free steal.
And Envy, they're
triple
going to disengage this. Ultimate coming out from the DaBoosh. Boosh on real low mana. This is such an extended engagement coming out for both teams. Allied using his ultimate just to zone Team Solo Mid. Now they're going to start the Gold Fury. Eonic, he's caught between 3, but Envy, they're turning their sights to the Gold Fury. Who did that go to? It looks like Envy was able to walk away with it. CycloneSpin finds a kill as well. Boosh tries to portal out, but it's bchm who's locked it down. Beads are forced.
2 seconds.
4 members of Envy chasing him
1
down.
second.
It doesn't matter.
There's nowhere to go. He
He
chose the wrong direction. Everyone had him locked down. Somehow Envy got that Gold Fury and wound up taking a slew of kills.
Who stole that?
I have no idea.
It's just like that Gold Fury went, I mean, back and forth. Like both teams pulled it, then reset it, then
TSM
pulled it, then reset it. And yeah, Team Solo Mid, they look like they finally wanted to full commit to it.
Oh, Kevin, this is a tier 2.
Oh, over.
I mean, like,
I don't know about that.
You don't think they can go for it?
I think it's not worth the risk, especially with all the members of Team Solo Mid who fell spawning. bchm could have picked up a lot of it. Actually, no, bchm actually already used Teleport 1. You can see 130-second cooldown.
I mean, given the fact that they had Aphrodite and Khepri ults available, I'm very surprised to see them not go into that extra 1,500.
I think it's a little bit of risk they don't want to deal with, especially considering the BooSh would have been able to grab this tier 1 tower in mid if they had elected to go for it. But at the same time, I guess BooSh probably would have tried to defend the tier 2. It's a risk I just don't think they wanted to take.
13 minutes in. Fire Giant still available. I don't expect either team going for this one for quite some time. And you'll note that Envy doesn't really have, and this is going to sound ridiculous after they just stole an objective, they don't have great objective steal.
They really don't. I mean, they don't have any, it's not only do they not have like a Mage Burst ultimate, but they don't have a lot of control from a support player or any of their gods, right? All they have for AoE stun is CycloneSpin's ult, and that's not that wide of a stun.
Can we actually check gold in hand? Oh, it's already up. Look at this. All right,
it's
so
been
600 gold. Now, you'll note that breastplate, the original breastplate costs 555. I am expecting 100% that Kiki goes into Mail of Renewal here.
I mean, there's no reason to go into breastplate, right? Because he already has 25% CDR from that Chronos Pendant. Right. He would overcap and Mail of Renewal.
But he usually likes Spear in this position.
I think it's dependent on how he feels, how safe he feels. If he feels like he's getting pressured too much, he'll go into Mail of Renewal. Mid-fight, though, doesn't look like Envy want to commit to Eonic, though. Eonic taking a good amount of poke. Kiki taking way more poke. If that portal had connected, Kiki was almost guaranteed dead, or at least had been forced to actually never. No, they have a Khepri. Sorry, I almost said guaranteed dead, but then I realized they had a revive on their team.
Yeah, that, and they have the Aphrodite ult as well. bchm going to be taking some damage here. Frostbound Hammer already activated, and you'll see a Hide of the Urchin coming online for Bellona.
DaGarz is going to fall here. Incon secures the kill with the Rising Dawn. Now the BooSh is going to fall through his own portal, just trying to immune some damage. And this, you know, Envy likes this. Not only is their Soul Lane winning the direct matchup, but Allied has been outboxing Snoopy. You can take a look at the build. A little bit in favor of Allied, as long as he doesn't take too much poke. And with the absurd amount of healing and damage reduction in the mid lane, Envy just going to pressure forward. CycloneSpin diving real deep. Does he have the burst? Yeah. BooSh once again for 2 games in a row. A lot of mistakes and misplays we don't typically see from him.
Mid lane tower destined to fall as all 5 members are now grouped up for the Envy squad. I assume they're going to go for the tier 2 as well. They have a lot of forward control. No, they're going to back off again.
They're playing it incredibly safe. I mean, they have this kind of like healing composition that they want to make it to late game with. And this is what I was talking about back before we even entered game 1, is that what Envy says, or what we can have said, is that, you know, Team Solo Mid and some of these other top teams, they're kind of stuck in their ways. And this new kind of healing meta, Envy is paving the way. And when they can get the draft they want, they're so successful with it.
So we're going to see the Envy squad start to back here. Everyone kind of staggering. You'll see the Jotun's Wrath being finished up by Serqet. Aphrodite not choosing to back yet, going to be sitting in the mid-wave. Incon, I imagine, has a decent amount of gold in hand as well. I would assume at this point the Sovereignty should be finished.
1,300, yeah, he's going to be back and be able to finish that one.
With Aphrodite sticking around.
He already has 2 actives finished.
Which is crazy.
That is not something you see this early, but...
Look at that, that's a Shell and 2 Heavenlies on the board. Again, there's just like no way that they're getting a kill.
It's going to be so hard. The longer team fights go, the better it is for Envy. Although I will say Team Solo Mid, they do have a good amount of burst potential, most notably in the Janus and Snoopy.
Asclepius.
What is it?
Asclepius.
Oh.
I like it.
Okay. I think most notably it's giving him movement speed.
Right.
Which is such an underrated kind of defensive stat, right? It's, you know, Smite is a game on skill shots. It's,
right.
It's not other MOBAs where, you know, it's point to click and it's auto-targeting for a lot of the skills. You can juke out almost every single ability in the game outside of like a Neath ultimate, which is like a homing missile.
Hey,
and
Vulcan
even then,
turret.
you can use Aegis and beads and use your team to body block. Movement speed is such a powerful stat, especially combined with Kiki, who already has movement speed when he's connected to someone with that link, that it's going to be hard to just even hit Kiki with abilities.
Did you just see DaGarz take about a quarter of his health?
And immediately back up? Yeah,
oh
Eonic,
my god, Eonic is dead to rights here. Nowhere to go.
Completely, or excuse me.
Boosh, though? Nope, alright. That was depressing. And another one, DaGarz will fall. Snoopy in some trouble as well. He might have to ult here. They look like they're rushing him down. Snoopy using his ultimate in reaction to the Eagles rally, but he's going to land inside the Suns and be bursted down immediately.
You can see Boosh also forced out in the back line. I believe that was Kiki who was actually doing a significant amount of burst. And EnVy, they're not even immediately jumping to the Gold Fury. They feel that confident that they'll be able to grab it that they stop and take a look at the red buff beforehand, giving it over to Kiki, who has actually a decent amount of magical power, 214. Gonna help his healing by a lot.
This game looking much different than the first, as EnVyUs 7 kills ahead with their second Gold Fury now, all thanks to the steal in the first major fight. We'll go to the graphs and show you how it's shaping up.
8,500 experience, 66,000 in gold, and there's not that many kills on the board. It's really been about that objective control and taking these things after winning small skirmishes. EnVy just know how to abuse a small lead and make it into a big one. 8,000 gold with that tier 2 taken.
That's this is now to the point where Team Solo Mid is hoping that EnVy makes a mistake. The issue is this comp can't really make mistakes. They have invincibility, they have combat resurrection, they have a ton of healing, a ton of damage reduction, they have a ton of damage, right? There's just no way that they can be shut down at this point without them making very clear, notable mistakes. And I'm talking about Khepri ulting the wrong people, Aphrodite kissing people who aren't taking damage, and at that point, every single ultimate on the side of TSM must be absolutely flawless. This is absolutely TSM's, or rather Team EnVy's game to lose.
You're talking about the mistakes, and that's the point, right? Is that with this composition, with this healing composition, and how many options that EnVy have, they can actually afford to make mistakes and still win as long as Team Solo Mid doesn't play flawless, perfect Smite. And even then, even if they do make mistakes, EnVy is still likely to win.
You'll notice that actually Cyclone doesn't even have actives. Like that's how confident Team EnVy is at this stage. They have no fear whatsoever.
Weekend taking so much poke, that's just going to be healed back. Boosh, he's actually going to try and snipe out Weekend there, but it's not going to connect at all. And Weekend, one more heal, he'll be back to full. It doesn't even matter, blinks into the tower. Kiki finds that kill. Taunted in is Weekend and Kiki, but Eonic, that's just not going to be enough to do anything. bchm lockdown as well.
DaGarz, don't do it.
All across the map.
DaGarz, run away very quickly. There you go.
All across the map, EnVy is finding wins. And Snoopy, he's able to secure a tier 1 on left, but Allied, he's already rotating back in. He'll be able to protect this fine.
Yeah, but the tier 2 in mid probably won't have the same level of defense as, yes, there is one person defending it, but on the side of EnVy, there are 3 people rushing it. Eonic going to fall immediately. Tier 2 completely exposed at this point. That's going to be another 1,500.
DaGarz, the only one here to defend this. I don't think he's going to be able to do it at all. Can we take a look at healing done by Kiki for now? And look at this. The entire time we're talking about this, CycloneSpin is split pushing on right. Yeah, 9,000 healing. Can we leave this up and bring up damage?
Check that damage
7,000 by TheBoosh, the highest. So Kiki has actually out-healed the highest member's damage.
And he's out-damaged.
On Team Solo Mid.
And he's out-damaged
too.
You know, one of the biggest things about Aphrodite is people really underrate how much damage she does. Birds are probably one of the hardest abilities to hit in the game, given how slow they are. But if you're good with prediction, you can hit them from mid-range pretty accurately. But you'll notice CycloneSpin going right into this fight.
I love this. EnVy knows how Team Solo Mid plays. When they start getting pressured like this and start losing objectives, what they do is they dedicate DaGarz or Snoopy to really this insane split push. DaGarz, he's going to be able to ult out of this one successfully, but they took the tier 2 on right, that's EnVy. Team Solo Mid, they tried their split push strategy, but Allied knew that it was going to happen. Rotates to mid, they don't lose anything. EnVy reading Team Solo Mid perfectly.
Back to the mid camps. Another win here for EnVy. Things shaping up very poorly for TSM in the second game. After such a rather dominant win, we saw bchm have an amazing game at 6-1-17, all but fallen at 0-3-1.
I mean, he just didn't have the same laning phase, is what it comes down to. Sobek is probably one of the safest. It's weird, though, because honestly, hi-rez is one of the safest solo laners as well, but CycloneSpin, I think he took small wins, and this is a little bit of matchup knowledge at the highest level. CycloneSpin just mechanically knows what to do to abuse a hi-rez in this matchup, and I think he's done it. You know, game one, it's a Nemesis versus a Sobek, right? That's mostly all in Sobek. It's very hard for the Nemesis to lock him down without ganks, and you know, game two, we just saw the slow increments by CycloneSpin.
And look at the builds coming out from Envy, right? You start off with CycloneSpin, who has an absurd amount of defense with the Hide of the Urchin, plus the Mail of Renewal, plus the health coming out from the... It's actually 400 health on the Frostman Hammer.
That's a lot of health.
Then you look at, you know, the core items finished for Serqet. You know, the Deathbringer's done. You look at Kiki going into the Mail of Renewal after the Asclepius. Full cooldown reductions on the way, plus movement speed, going to be impossible to kill. Incon has both major aura items, plus a Wing Blade for slow immunity on top of two, and I mean two, Heavenly Agilities, plus a Shell, and then Allied's already starting his crit.
Envy isn't even 5-man committing to this Fire Giant. They actually had CycloneSpin split pushing and stealing away buffs, while Allied was taking on the Fire Giant by himself, and Weaken was stealing away the speed buff, but it looks like CycloneSpin rotating in, gonna catch Boosh off guard.
Gun.
Envy, they want to fight.
They need to get in there soon. It's really starting to get low. Boosh still hasn't thrown his ultimate away. Allied ready to clean this one up. He's taking a lot of damage, but Fire Giant for free, and I mean for absolutely free, goes to Envy.
Pooch just keeps getting forced out of every fight. Look at that blink it by Weaken over the wall, and the explosion. Kiki locks that one down.
Trying to dash into the right side here. bchm going to catch a few in his ult, but there's no damage in that build almost whatsoever. He's going to get blasted. Low health forced away as Snoopy gets sacrificed for the greater good.
There's that split push strategy I was talking about. DaGarz is going to get a tier 1, but they're going to lose a Phoenix and likely a second one here as Envy.
They don't need a Phoenix.
I think they might just dive. I think they're happy with DaGarz split pushing. This is to their benefit that DaGarz isn't in this fight. There's no lockdown. There's no control. Envy, Shell is popped. They're committing to this Titan. It's already at 7,000.
Well, Khepri still has his ult. Aphrodite can make them invincible. There it is. I mean, again, there's just no, like, how do you kill this squad? It's not possible.
At all. Aphrodite ult was used. Incon's ult still available. Weaken going to be able to find bchm. Titan at 1,000 health.
And resurrect.
Now it's at 0. And Envy, they lost game 1 to draft. They got flat out drafted.
Nemesis
game
made
2,
no sense in the fight.
It
didn't work.
It did. I wouldn't say necessarily that Nemesis made no sense. I think it was more that Team Solo made drafted really well against the first half.
You can't pick Nemesis into 2 Guardians. It's not going to work.
It's true.
She's just going to... The Retribution Shield is irrelevant, and you're never going to get to stick to the target. TSM outdrafted them. bchm played the Sobek perfectly, but in Game 2, it was the opposite. TSM lost in picks and bans.
But First Blood, though, once again going to Allied in Game 2. This time... It was just to this rotation. He kind of just threw his ult over the wall on a target that was basically already dead, and that was just a kill steal. That's just a kill steal.
Kill steal. Report, please.
Please.
Report Allied. But you'll notice Allied was walking in, that beam of lights just coming up. In CycloneSpin, he got Afro ulted, he got Khepri ulted, he used the Eagles rally. Like,
Team Solo Mid actually didn't even full commit to CycloneSpin because they knew the Khepri ult was there, like, we can't kill him. And I almost think that hurt them, right? If they had full committed to CycloneSpin, popped the Khepri ult early, I think they could have disengaged. But they stayed there so long, kind of like, I'm going to poke you a little bit.
Harassment doesn't work against healers.
It just doesn't.
But Weaken, you know, shutting any form of healing down on the other side with his ultimate. Great game from him as well. 4-0-5 connected with that Aphrodite. Going to find himself player of the game and a rather impressive reel coming up for you.
I mean, look at just that play right there.
Bye-bye.
Both members taunting them out, forcing them to attack each other. Then they also lock down Ram here when he comes crashing down. Weaken all over the map. This is the pressure we expected from Game 1, Serqet. But he was, you know, without the same amount of control, it was much easier for him to get to the back line and lock down the players he needed.
Weaken goes right in here, throws down the damage, gets knocked off immediately, but it didn't matter because Snoopy was still in the air taking that poison damage. He drops, he spreads it, he falls. The Phoenix falls as well. Weaken with a very strong game.
Team Solo Mid, though, still showing that they are a top contender in North America and not ever someone to sleep on. Even though they're sitting at now 11-11, they don't have, kind of really the dominant record that they used to. They're still up there. They're still a very strong team.
Speaking of dominance, let's take a look at the Alpha Draft top performers this game, where I assume we're going to see a lot of Envy.
I think it's going to be all of Envy. Yeah, most of them able to stay there. No one sneaking. Allied was able to sneak onto it last time in front of TheBoosh, but this time it's all Envy, and CycloneSpin having a pretty solid game, followed by Kiki, Weekend, Incon, and then Allied there. Really, a couple points from stealing kills, but he didn't do much.
Report Allied, please.
Please. And ask them to give you gems, because I don't want to give you gems.
You owe someone 200 gems.
I don't owe anyone gems. Welcome on the line, Incon, though. Incon, are you there? How you doing?
Doing pretty well, Adonis. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. So talk to me. Do you feel like you just got out-drafted in Game 1? Because that's what it seems like for looking at it for me and DM. Or is this just a poor execution of the strategy you guys developed?
For me, it came down to a couple things. One was we had a very unfortunate engagement where I blinked in on Geb, and my Cataclysm missed because in the blink animation, I got knocked back by Tidal Surge.
Oh.
So that was unfortunate, which allowed us to throw basically one fight that kind of snowballed a little bit out of control. But also the fact that our team composition was good, but it was poor against their composition.
Yeah.
And I think, though, that one of our strengths is our ability to adapt so quickly. And so we immediately ran a counter comp to the comp they ran in the first game, and they ran essentially the same composition.
The Khepri Aphrodite, I mean, this is probably my favorite thing in the game right now. It's not like what would you do going into that comp?
I would try to get a lot of anti-healing, but it was off the board and banned. So
I mean, you guys do so well, I think, at picks and bans. You're probably the most versatile team out of both North America and Europe. We always talk about in interviews, you guys just bring something new every single week. Do you think that's actually probably one of your biggest strengths and why you've made such a dominant run in the fall split, is being able to switch it up instead of just kind of playing the same old thing every week?
I do think it allows us to have... Honestly, what it does is it allows us to go against each team individually. A lot of teams will have a couple strategies that they run that they work for themselves, where we more play, hey, what does this team run? Let's play what beats that, So we run more counter comps than anything, or that just because everybody plays so much that we have a lot of god pool that we can pull from to do that.
So the hot topic, of course, you guys switching over from the black and green to the black and blue. Tell us a little bit about Envy and what you guys are doing with the new, the new banner.
Yeah, of course, we are super excited to be here with Team EnVyUs. Previously with AFK Gaming, we love them. We wish them the best of luck. No hard feelings. Didn't leave with bad taste in our mouth or anything. But we're very excited to be working with Team EnVyUs and all of their amazing sponsors. Awesome brand behind them. Monster, Astro, Twitch, etc. All of these great things.
Okay.
So expect to see some awesome things coming here from Team
Okay,
EnVyUs.
So the important question is, so the food at the AFK Lounge was good. That's what you just said?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah.
There you go. Incon, I'm actually going to be watching this interview back because did you know, like, the last couple interviews he actually snuck in the word envious? Like, he was hinting.
Yeah.
No one noticed it at all.
He's done it a lot.
I really want to know what you snuck in this time. Incon, final question before we let you go. You're going to be matching up against Scrim partners Eager in your next game. How do you feel going against them?
Going against Eager is always one of those things where it's a little bit weird because when you go to get your scrim partners, you typically don't scrim each other that week. So it can be kind of a strange week, but we always wish them the best. We want the best for our scrim partners, and we hope to see each other at Worlds.
Awesome. I know you already shouted out your sponsors. Do you have anything else to say before you head off here?
Of course. Shout out to all of our fans who support us on our Twitches and our YouTubes. Thank you to you guys. Thank you for supporting us, no matter what team we are with, and hopefully we can prove to be a top team in North America, even under Team EnVyUs.
Income, real quick before you go, your shirt campaign's still going on, yeah?
Yeah, it is. We've sold about 110 shirts. Make sure you go check that out at teespring.com/twitch/InconShirt.
Nice job. He didn't promote himself enough.
Yeah,
nice save there.
I got you, man.
Nice save there.
I got you, Incon.
That's gonna do it.
Honestly, I like the shirt, and I don't like a lot of things, but I bought that shirt. It's a cool logo. His new design is dope.
I do like it. I think it's an improvement over the last one. Last one, I think he got it from clip art or something.
I think the shield was good.
No,
it just looked a little clip arty.
I feel like I took a shot at some artist there. But guys, that's gonna do it for Thursday here. Take a look. We're gonna bring up these SWC tickets. If you guys are excited about Smite Esports, maybe if you're just EnVyUs fans, right? Maybe if you have just come in and you want to learn about Smite, make sure to check out the Smite World Championship and look to come if you're specifically in the Atlanta area or want to make some travel. It's gonna be really exciting, guys.
If you guys missed Worlds last year, I mean, I don't envy you.
Okay, Incon.
Yes.
Nice sneak there.
All right. No, but seriously, I mean, it's going to be amazing. We're not only going to show you the best and the brightest of the esports world, but we have our cosplay contest as well.
Yeah, just announced today. And it's not last year it was kind of like there's one competition, but there's actually multiple categories this year. There's best youth under 15. There's best pairing. So if you come with a friend or multiple friends as a group, you can actually win competition there. There's best prop. There's best in show. There's a lot of different categories. So you're not pigeonholed into be like, all right, I have to make this type of costume to get known. There's even a best skin.
Actually, let's just take a little look at a little video that we've made.
Okay.
Little bit video.
Cosplayers and Smite fans, I'm hi-rez Amanda.
And I'm hi-rez David.
And we're the hosts of Cosplay Queue Up. We are so happy to announce that there will be a second Smite cosplay contest at the 2016 Smite World Championship.
Right, so whether you're making your first costume ever or a cosplaying veteran, you can register right now at smitegame.com.
We'll be awarding over $20,000 in prizes.
That's right, so bring your best costumes that show off your love of Smite.
Grab your glue gun, stock up on Warbler, and we'll see you in costume at SWC.
This Scylla, she won last year,
Yes.
and just by watching that video, you can see why. I mean,
She was phenomenal. There's actually the Janus at the end. I think that was what is his name? Bradator. He does a lot of cosplay for Smite. He's an awesome guy from what I've seen on Twitter. Guys, though, Sun God sale to celebrate Soul entering Smite. So these 4 gods. Praise the sun, boys. Earn double fantasy points and enjoy 50% off all sun gods this weekend only. It's going to be Khepri, Apollo, Ra, and Hu-Yi, who we just saw have success in the Pro League.
Yeah, Hu-Yi is massively buffed. If you don't
Khepri.
have this god, this weekend is for you.
I'm actually pretty excited to see Hu-Yi back in the meta, or more prominently in the meta.
Don't forget, guys, Alpha Draft. Make sure to sign up, play. You can win real money playing fantasy esports. And again, this will function throughout the rest of the weekend and for next week as well. So you go to alphadrafts.com and sign up for free.
Make sure to get your picks in. It locks 24 hours in advance, so you're not going to be able to lock in for Friday's game, but you're going to be able to sign up and potentially earn some money for Saturday and Sunday. Let's take a look at where both regions, though, sit at the end of Thursday of Week 8. We're going to take a look at Europe. Sitting at the top, Epsilon. Still, they did drop a game last week, but they are so far ahead of the rest of the pack.
19-1 puts them at the best record worldwide and maintaining it. You'll see Paradigm today, 16-6, 2 sets ahead right now of Fnatic. They have some to play this weekend. Fnatic 10-12, falling a little bit. 2 rough games today against Paradigm.
Titan's been struggling. It's going to be rough for them. Right now, we're really looking at that 6 seed, though. Only the top 6 teams make it to the Super Regional. So Team Dignitas sitting at 8-14. They want to not only put some distance away from Myrmidons and Justice, but I think they are looking to pass Conspiracy. They want to make sure that they're not coming in at 6th seed. They're coming in at a 5th or maybe even 4th.
Honestly,
Titan,
5th seed is better, in my opinion, than 6th. Because,
is that because you're away
in my
from
head,
Epsilon?
I think 6 has to fight Epsilon. Otherwise, they go to wild card.
Let's not say the wrong thing.
No, I mean, this is speculation.
Yes.
It's just in my head. It's how I figured. But, I mean, that's rough.
We're going to take a look at the top of North America. Well, it is still Envy, although they did drop a game, now having 3 losses at 19-3, followed by Scrim Partners Eager. Team Solo Mid still staying even. What a competitive region.
Yeah.
3rd place out of 8 teams has an even record.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Like Cloud9, 4th place. They haven't played as many games, but 10-8, that's still very close as well. Enemy at 10-12. 6th spot is not free for anyone.
I think the big issue, I think the big contention here is Denial and Cog. Elevate, they're not far enough behind to the point where they couldn't clinch that 6th seed, like off some really serious wins. But Denial went from 4th seed North America to 7th.
It's pretty rough. And Enemy, they're sitting at 5th right now, but I believe they started off 7-2. I mean, I think they've lost like 9 of their last 10 or like 8 of their last 10 games or something.
It's been a lot. A very big change.
It's been a long fall. Take a look
man.
at the rest of the schedule, though,
Long weekend.
and really see what the big matchups are going to be. So we're starting off tomorrow with Myrmidons versus Epsilon Esports, followed by Cognitive Gaming taking on Denial. Match of the week, though, we're looking at the final game on Saturday. It's going to be Eager versus Cloud9. Cloud9 winning the best of this at the Cog Invitational.
It was super close, though. It's a 3-2, yeah?
Yeah, it went all fine. It was actually, it's funny because it kind of, the Cog Invitational was to celebrate Cog Prime winning Worlds, which is now Cloud9. Funnily enough, they ended up winning their own tournament, but also in the finals of SWC last year, they won the first 2 games, lost the next 2, and then won the final game against Titan. And they actually did the same versus Eager at the COG Invitational. It was like the exact same format. It was scary.
And this is really big for Eager because they want to try to keep that second seed slot as much as possible. Falling to 3rd or 4th could be a little bit detrimental. 3rd and 2nd are actually very close. They'll fight very similar opponents. But if Eager doesn't keep this train of success going and they manage to fall to 4th, they're going to wind up fighting their scrim partners early on.
They're in a pretty solid spot, though. I think right now they're 3 or 4 wins above the rest of the pack and, you know, trailing behind their scrim partners by 3 or 4 wins. They're not going to catch Envy more than likely, but, you know, they're in a good spot, and I think they're going to come out okay. That's going to do it for Thursday, though, guys. Make sure to check out more SPL action live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. I believe, what time is it? I'm so bad with
Probably
time
9.
conversions. Probably 9.
That
10.
sounds right.
I think it's like 10.
All right, bye, guys.
Have a good one.